Hello, Mr. Walker. How are you doing today?
Yeah,
I'm also doing fine, man. So, where are you from?
I'm from New Zealand, but I'm currently living in Brisbane, Australia.
All right. So, before we get some insights about your trading and your overall experience with FundedNext, why don't you just introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Andrew. I'm from New Zealand, and I live in Australia. I'm a full-time father and worker and trader.
That sounds amazing. So, can you share some interesting things about Australia with our traders?
Yeah, so Australia, it's beautiful for the weather, um, and the beaches. Lovely, lovely place. I like it here in Brisbane because it's close to home, and to New Zealand, I can fly back to see my family regularly. And yeah, but with everything going at the moment, Australia is a beautiful country. So I recommend for people definitely come visit. It's a great place to visit.
I've never been to Australia, but it's a very beautiful country. I've seen it, and I really hope to visit it one day very soon.
Yeah,
Can you share your trading journey with us?
yeah, sure. So I think everyone might have heard it was back 2 years ago. I spoke to a few friends and they were talking about trading. It was actually trading binary options. Like, oh yeah, cool. And everyone it was actually part of a big group. Some traders may be aware of it. It was called IM Academy
Yeah,
from the United States. Yeah, everyone's like, yo, get on you IM Academy, sign up. You get members. We can teach you how to trade. All you need to do to make money is jump on the live call and you can make money. And the hype was real. You know what I mean? Like I've been my background. I've worked in the mining industry for a long time. And in construction. So I was, long days, 12-hour days, very long days. And then I seen all these, people making money, and I thought to myself that they're so happy as well, and they're making the same money as me, and I wanted to be a part of that. So, man, I worked away, and then with my savings, I started putting it into the binary options, and I wasn't study about things, but I will just say the experience with binary options and the offshore brokers that you use. I think there was a couple like IQ and stuff. That the experience was just a lot of hours, man. A lot of losses. Um, a lot. I met some good people and all that, but I think behind it all, the biggest marketing scheme was when you sign people up, you get the payments, and then you try and learn how to trade. But from what I learned from that, I was like, there was no long term longevity in it. It was just, I think it was the hype that trapped me in. And because of the losses, though, I did take a bit of losses, and I thought to myself, I've worked hard for this money. How can I get this back? And then I ended up staying with IM Academy, and I looked at another way to trade, which was trading cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
But that was learning how to chart up and mark up. So from there I thought, oh well, I'll give it another go. Everyone that had signed up under me, I said, don't worry about it. I'm gonna stay a member and carry on studying. I ended up studying for another 6 months. Just I never studied any currency pairs. I just studied how to use TradingView and how to mark up in a strategy. Um, I was quite lucky. I feel now that I've got a strategy, I was quite lucky. I fell into a strategy called Smart Money Concepts,
Mm-hmm.
and they got order blocks and price action. Through this time, I had demos, and me personally, because I was making money in the mines, I couldn't trade a demo and feel, I couldn't be consistent. I had no, it was just, I couldn't do it properly. So I started getting live accounts with FTMO, challenges with FTMO.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do challenges and pay these and try and pass them with minimal experience. From that experience, I lost, man. I lost a few challenges because I was just trying to, if I have a demo account, I'm just like, I'm not going to get out of bed. But since I had the challenges, I was like, it just didn't, it was just loss after loss. From there, I thought, man, I looked at the amount and I thought, I've lost, quite a bit of money here. but I still was like, man, I love trading. You know, what it offers is a great lifestyle, and I was committed. I was very committed to doing it. So move forward another 6 months. In that time of 6 months, I tried one more prop firm. It was called True Forex Funds. I funded them and I worked with them, and it was pretty successful at the start. But then they were a new firm. They had a lot of slippage issues. For me, being a new trader, new funded, I was just like, man, it's the same. It was the same experience as binary options. I was like, they say that it's good and I'm losing, and I was like, man, stuff this, I'm out. So that ended, and then I just did, man, I'm going to give it one more shot. So I took 3 months of work, or 4 months of work, as of 2 weeks ago. I started studying my strategy. I knew it was profitable. I started back testing it, and then I just Googled all the prop firms, went through all of them, bang, 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 bang. And then I come across FundedNext, and I was like, 15% profit share. And I was like, what? No way. Seriously. And then for me, when it said 15% profit share, I was like, for me, my mind, how I perceived it was, it's trading live straight away. It's not a challenge. Yes, it's a challenge, but I'm making money from the go, so it's real. To me, that is real trading.
Exactly.
And I went on Instagram, I went on Facebook, I went on Discord, and I was like checking everything. And I was like, man, ticking the boxes. This is great. You know what I mean? And that was my start into it. And then I got pretty excited. I ended up coming with you guys. When I first done, I got a couple of challenges. I was used to trading 100K challenges, so I got that and all of one. I was successful enough to pass those and get funded. And thank you, I just got my first payout today. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So that was amazing as well. And yeah, my trading journey, from everything that I've been through, led me to FundedNext, and it sort of, and cutting a long story short, it really ticked all the boxes for me, and it was just the right timing. I think that 15% from the start, making the challenge is pinnacle. That is a game changer for all of these challenges and for all these prop firms. And then now the days are down to minimum 5 days. So I think that there is, it really helps the psychology. You know what I mean? Not just the money, not just 15%, but the psychology of trading is that you really feel like you're a live trader and you're part of a company from the start.
Exactly.
Investment. The first investment for me wasn't like, oh, I'm doing a challenge and hopefully get funded. It's like, I'm investing money and I'm part of the family or FundedNext from day one. So that was my my trading journey from it was trying everything. And don't get me wrong, to all the traders out there, and I think we all heard that there's Instagram, there's people that pass challenges, there's bots, there's EAs, there's thousands of people that will promise you the world. My advice to traders is to, if you're ever going to invest money, is to invest in education and
exactly
price action strategies. Don't trust anything and anything else there, because I'm telling you right now, from my point, and it was painful, I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way from losing money from all these billionaires on Instagram and stuff. So my advice would be to just invest your money into study and do things with price action the right way. And for the prop firms, I can't really recommend any other than FundedNext, because it's just real from the bets. Yeah, that's my trading journey.
So as you've mentioned your starting part, so what are the things that you consider studying when you want to take preparation for the real market scenario?
Yeah, so some of the things I recommend studying would be what I studied was market structure. So I went on YouTube and I YouTube smart money concepts, and there was a few academies. There was Phantom and Hustle Trading. These ones, all of their when you sign up, it's education. So what I mean by education is you want to learn about the markets, you want to learn about how price moves, and you also learn also. You want to learn about psychology, because the hardest thing about trading is psychology, and I've
Exactly.
learned that. And to be honest, it's the person, you know, it's the person in the mirror, the markets and trading would really, it's the most, I feel it's the most best self-development tool you can invest in, because you'll really get to know yourself. And when I say you'll know yourself, you'll know that you had emotions on the high and the low you never thought you had. So
Exactly.
yeah, so it's the psychology. So all I'm trying to say at the end of the day was invest your money in studying education, and don't the hype that you see on social media. You know, the hype that you see about FundedNext and what they offer, that's true, that's real, I can say that. But, you know, at the end of the day, trading is very challenging career. It is rewarding, but you really need to just focus on your strategy and your studying. And I think, you know, work on that. And
So you've mentioned studying, you've mentioned backtesting and everything, trading psychology as well. So what is the hardest obstacle you had to face to become a successful trader?
the hardest obstacle I had to face was to be honest with myself. So what I mean by this is that I broke it down to the real life stuff. You need a good routine. If your mind and body is not right, your trading won't be right.
Exactly.
So I tried to trade full time in the last 3 months. I was trading. It wasn't because I live in Australia. I like to trade in New York and London and New York. Yeah. So during the day, I was a full-time trader. And when I say to myself, I'm a full-time trader, I have 8 hours in the day sitting around. What do you think my mind's doing? It's like, oh, I'm just going to trade a little bit of Asian market. You know, oh, price is moving. I'm going to get in there. So for me, the hardest obstacle was to stick to my trading plan. And rules, because I wanted to trade full time, but it didn't work out. Why? Because I was trading a market that was untradeable, because I couldn't have patience to wait till London. So the time my setups and that came, I was already, you know, down for the day, and I'm like, man, I should have just waited, you know. So what I recommend traders is that full time, stick to a rule. And then for me, I actually got a job now during the day. I just worked a part-time job doing career driving, delivering mail around the city. For me, that helps me get out for the day, interact with people. I start preparing my mind for the markets, and it gives me a sense of I make money during the day from a job in the community. So now that I approach the markets in London and New York, I have zero expectations now if I can win or lose. It's like, you know, I've made money, I've done a good deed, my mindset, I've done some physical work. That there was a better approach for me personally to get into trading, because when I was doing that, when I try to trade full time, I would just be at home, you know, looking at the screen, and it'll be talking to me like, oh, there's an opportunity, when really, you know, there's not. I hopefully that makes sense to all the traders out there, is that, you know, to stick to your rules. And for me, having that routine and balance is very pinnacle and key. And one thing that I do as well, when you have down days or down draw, Muhammad Ali always said it's self-talk is pinnacle, you know.
Yeah.
So I like to wake up before I trade and have 10-20 minutes before I trade, and just say, you know, I always write my goals to say I'm one of the best traders, and I'm successful, and keep talking to yourself, build your confidence, because neither the prop firm, anyone else, you know, can get your balance up and to where it needs to be, other than yourself. So I think, yeah, so I think that is just to really have confidence in yourself and get your routine right. You know, make sure that everything in your life is squared away, and you are set for trading, and you don't have distractions. But if you've got too much stuff going on, the market will reflect what your mind is on the market.
That's amazing. That's perhaps one of the biggest truths that all the traders need to hear, because a good routine can bring you a good trade and a good life. As simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's what I feel is one of the best ways. And you know, one more thing I'll add is also like with it, it's the basics. You know, get good meals and get a good sleep in, and if you know you'll be doing all these things, you're like, man, I just want London's open. But trust me, man, when you get everything right and you stick to your rules and you feel good, and then you actually execute your trade to the steps you're taking, every, you know, the dopamine it just hit differently. You know, it's amazing feeling when you actually execute it with everything in check.
That's amazing. So we have heard about your daily routine and everything. Can you share your trading strategy with us as well?
Yeah, cool. So sorry traders, I don't have my computer set up at the moment, but I will share some I guess a bit about my strategy. So with my strategy, I like to trade I actually read it out here. So I have my trading strategy and my rules always written up, and I have it on the wall, and I read it daily. Regardless what I do, it's something that for me, I like to read my strategy daily, every day, just so that it becomes a habit. So how I like to trade, I like to first of all on a Sunday night or daily, I like to mark up my my POIs on the 4 hours.
Point of interest.
I look at the 4-hour time frame for my direction of what the price is and what the overall direction is. From there, I'll POIs and my points. I think we're all aware of those. From my POIs that I mark up on the 4 hours, I like to refine them down to a 15-minute sort of order block within my 4. Once I've got my 15-minute order blocks and all that all marked out, from there it's just a game. I will now just wait for price to come to my area. But the thing is, there's a lot of names for the go off, but what I like to go off when it taps my area, whether it's a supply or a demand area, I like to wait. My confirmation is called a chalk. So I like to wait for a change of character on the 15th. So that for me, people call it an order shift or whatever they call it, but I like to draw my POIs, and then I like to, when it hits there, I'll wait, and then I'll wait for a 15-minute order flow shift. What that is that the highs are getting swept, and the demand that sweeps the highs are getting swept. For me, that's an indication of there's a directional change, whether it be at a high, strong high, or a strong low. And then from there, once it shows me my confirmation on the 15 minutes, I will then go back onto the 1 minute all the way down to the 10-second time frame, and I'll look for the exact same thing on those time frames for confirmation to go in my direction. And that's pretty much my strategy in a nutshell. I don't use any indicators or anything like this. I look at the Asian range now and then, but for me, I purely just trade off order blocks. And yes and no, I sometimes do it. I grab my Fibonacci, but I use my Fibonacci in a different way. I use my Fibonacci in the sense of if I've got a big 4-hour order block, I'll fib in the middle so I can see where the 50% of that order block is.
Right.
That's how I like to just pure price. And one thing I'm sure plenty of traders are aware of it, but I have my chart black and white, no emotions, just no colors. Yeah.
So when the price reaches your order block area, what are the reactions that you expect from the price, that based on which you will execute that trade?
Yeah. So when it hits my area, when it first hits my area of my interest, my POI of interest, it has to hit my area, and then talk about the order flow or shift. There has to be a block created, and that has to be engulfed. And what I mean by it has to be engulfed. It has to be a good push off from that area. Once I see that, for me, that area, so a change of character is that it'll hit my area, and then it'll come back the opposite direction. And when it breaks that demand, the key is here, I'll look what caused the break of structure or
Exactly.
what caused that for me is obviously within that order block. So then I'll get to that block, and some people like to trade, have the stop loss at 10 or 20 pips. For me, my strategy is on, like, I usually trade Euro USD or GBP JPY on 5, anywhere from 3 to stop loss. I don't like to have anything bigger. I really like to refine it down to the second, and the market's fractal, so you look for a change character on the 15. I do the same thing on the 3 minutes and the seconds, and break it down from there, and jump on the market, and hopefully get a good move from it.
All right. So what's the story? As you've already shared your story behind your trading strategy, what's the time frame this strategy is best suited for?
I think the time it's really would be pro trade, so it would be the hard time frames. We always look for the hard time frame moves. Obviously, it's a little bit difficult with the prop firms holding trades, for weeklies and stuff like that. But with the strategy, it can be used as intraday trading or swing trading. But it's from there. It's the psychology. Like, I always talk about people's thresholds with, what's your psychology and your threshold for money? Because when you're entering these trades and they're getting big moves, you could set your long up or your short and think, man, that's going to be good IRR, good pips. But your psychology is when it hits $1,000, you can think that's a lot of money. I want to cash out.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, and one thing, if that's okay, a lot of people markets and they understand, they want to make thousands or whatnot. For me, what helped me was whatever you can make in a 9 to 5 in a job, target for that for the day or trade, because if you can do it in your hand, you can do it here. That'll build your confidence. So for me, I thought, say for an example, on a $100,000 account, I thought making $300 a day, I think everybody could say that is quite, that's not even trading, that's very easy. But if you think about it in terms, it's like, I done that. I'm like, man, I worked the whole 9-hour day, and in Australia it's 40 degrees in the sun.
Yeah.
So it is one of those things where this strategy is built off big moves. For me personally, I haven't caught a massive move because I just don't have the psychology yet. I don't want to have $10,000 running. I just, I'll take the money and keep moving forward and getting entries. But the strategy that we do use is for big moves. But you really have to have a good psychology, because you can have your strategy and have your moves, but do you have to decide, can you handle sitting through that P&L, going up and down? That's a different story that I didn't know about as well.
What I personally do is I usually hide that section. I usually replace that section with the pips, the P&L with the pips. That actually helps me to stick down to my rules, because when I see my account $1,000 in profit, then all of a sudden $2,000 in drawdown, it just breaks my heart. So that's something that many traders can help.
That's exactly right. And say $1,000, you make $1,000. For me, which is great as well. Whatever I make, it's 100%. Why? Because you exchange US to Australia, it's for me it's 100%. So they've shared this in Australia. They have mining. Mining is one of the biggest constructions and mining careers. And the money is amazing. I think people work 14 days straight, 14-hour days, 3,000 a week. Make that in like an hour a days, and I just thought, man, and it's very achievable to make that money on trading. So yeah, it's definitely, haven't found the right psychology yet to be able to sit through these trades, and because they do say, there's an old saying where they say you cut yourself short and you're cutting your profits short. You need to let your edge play out.
Exactly.
But it's hard. It's a tough one. I'm still learning as I go, but it's hard to let the edge fully play out.
I really hope that you find it along the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Then, as you've already traded some of the prop firms in the industry, so what inspired you to join FundedNext in the first place?
What inspired me about FundedNext was pretty. When I watched all the videos, I think I watched he's a cricket player.
Chris Gayle.
Yeah. I seen him and I was like, well, if they've got a cricket player, then this must be legit firm, because I'd never heard of them. And I asked friends, hey, you guys heard of FundedNext? They're like, nah, man, nah. And then I was like, oh. And then the thing that I've learned trading in itself, regardless, because I'm in Australia, right? Regardless of what they say around, no one ever is going to understand the experience if you do it yourself.
Exactly.
So for me, I thought, you know what? I'm going to block all the noise out. I just thought, I'm willing to lose whatever I am to invest in this company and go with the programs. And at the end of it, it's going to be a learning curve on the big journey for trading. So I seen that video, and then the biggest thing for me was the 15% when you first initially start up. 15%, I'll talk about it a little bit more, was when you start the challenge on 15%, you can clearly feel and know to yourself, to your psychology, that you're making money straight away.
Exactly.
And if that feeling is money, you're not, because sometimes with the challenges, right, you could be in downdraw or whatnot. You've got two options. You can think, just $700. What? I'll make it again. I'll start again. You can tell yourself, you can justify yourself to be like, you know what, $700, stuff it. But when you invest and you start with you guys, you think of $700 or $549 for the challenge plus 15%, and then that's on your conscience. It's like, man, like I'm gonna work. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna just take FOMO trades and rush into it. It really is, one of the key things why I joined FundedNext.
What are the other things that inspired you except for that 15% profit share?
Also what inspired me was the spreads. The spreads were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I signed up, I think I had my account pretty fast, and there was a lot of just saying, oh, it takes long, this, that. And I just thought, man, I had my account fast. And also, shout out to my account manager. Having an account manager, I think, is an amazing, because every time with customer service, you're across the world, it can get a little bit frustrating because there'll be thousands of traders reaching out.
Exactly.
But account manager is amazing, and after a while now, I think it's been a month or so. It's just like we're mates. I'll just text him a few ideas or questions, and have an account manager. The accounts was good. So the spreads, because I trade EU to zero spread, and then now adding to that, I withdrew on Saturday. It's Monday now. The funds are in my account by 12 o'clock. You know what I mean? Most things, for being in Australia, you'd think working for an international company and, hearing things, it takes time. It's all wrong, because, I question on Saturday on the policy, on your guys' thing, it says 1 to 3 days, you're committed to 1 to 3 days.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know what I mean? There's no, regardless of what anyone or anything you hear or say, it's just like everything that I have read has excelled to that, and I'm really, I'm impressed with it, and I have referred a lot of friends to come over to FundedNext, and I told them it's just, to be honest, it's quite a new firm. What I looked at as well is that there's not much Kiwis or Australians that trade for prop firms, man. I was like, I think I'm the only person from this side of the world, so it was amazing. And to tell, to be able to tell my culture and my friends about FundedNext and the future that it can do, it's, a lot of people are interested now. But from here, it's like, well, now you find some education and you know where to go with it. You know where to go to get your foot in the door with it.
All right. That was really amazing to hear all these valuable feedbacks and valuable things from you, because at the end of the day, when we initiated our 15% profit share, the main purpose behind it was to appreciate your traders from the very beginning. Because as you know, most of the traders put a lot of effort in the challenge trades, but they usually don't get recognized for that. So our target was to break that cycle, and I think we successfully did so.
Yeah, and also if you look at stats and stuff, most traders that pass the challenges, most of them don't even make it to the first profit split in their month. So, when you pass the challenges, you can definitely up on the back to know, you can just do a trade, get it $1 in profit, and you get 15%. So that milestone that you achieve and that first step, that's one of the best programs I've seen out. And it's and 15% is a lot of money on the capital or the account you choose
Exactly.
from your initial. So I think it's a great, it's a very good introduction to the firm to then carry on.
So you were talking about all the things, all the features that you like most about FundedNext. So can you share some tips and tricks with our traders? You've already shared some of your insights with our traders, but some secret tips and tricks?
Yeah. I think one tip that I'll use is that when you get the account, when you get the challenge, you don't need to take a trade straight away. Wait till your setup comes around, and then take the challenge from there. And the biggest thing that you want to do with these challenges is I will always talk about it, is make sure that your life and your psychology is all in check. Make sure that everything is smooth, because you will take being frustrated. You will take it out on the markets. And what I mean by that is, if you're frustrated or stuff's going wrong, you're gonna take a trade that's not even good. You will take trades and setups that are not well. For me though, for the challenges, I like to scalp, and I like to also, one thing though with the challenges is that when I'm in, say for an example, I take a trade, I'm in $1,000 profit.
Mm-hmm.
I like to move my entry to the stop loss if it comes back, or at least $500. I like to scale in and keep scaling in to re-enter, so I've got more trades flowing. For me, that helps the challenges. That helps get your capital quite a bit faster for me. So scaling in on the challenges, or on your trades during the challenge phase, and then also the hardest and biggest process during the challenge is phase 1. If you can completely get phase 1, then phase 2, there's no rush. You can break it down a lot and take your time with phase 2. So my tips and tricks would be to scale in, always scale in on your trades. If you've got profit, and it's in decent profit, scale in, move your stop loss so that it gets at least 0.5% up, and use that percent and keep scaling in, because from there the percent will add up. Make sure that your psychology and everything is set before you actually take your first trade.
Mm-hmm.
And then also is to, when you get phase 2, do not rush it, man. Phase 2 is very achievable, and there's no rush. 60 days is a lot of time in the trading world. That'll be my advice for it. And also, it's not tips, but it's advice. Don't take people's signals, and don't get bots and people, all these people that have funded, passing your, they can pass your prop firm challenge and stuff. At the end of the day, it's just an excuse to yourself so that you can take the blame off yourself. So if you lose,
Exactly.
you can say, oh, he's done it, they've done it, and you won't feel so bad about it. At the end of the day, if you fail a challenge, or you get in down draw, or you have a bad day, all it is that trading come with a loss. And at the end of the day, you got to remember, trading is one of the 5% careers in the world. This is top in the world. You know what I mean? So be kind to yourself and don't beat yourself up too much. At the end of the day, if it fails, you'll get there. Don't give up. It'll come around. And trust me, I had a lot of L's and a lot of hard, painful experiences, but I just keep going. I keep going. I keep being positive, keep talking to myself. And during the process, the main thing, the main ingredients to it all was routine and psychology. And that was the main ingredients for it. So that's what I can advise to all the traders out there to do it. And also another thing that I've done is I got off social media. I don't. You can be on Instagram. It can be pretty dangerous in the sense of, oh, got 20 RR. He got this. He got that. Everyone can get that and this, but you may not be able to get it. So you need to stick to your strategy and what you know best. And I do advise as well, like for me in Australia, it was hard. Like I have no friends and no family that have this career. They have no knowledge. And then when I join groups, it's pretty hard. That's a person, and it's, you know, it's in a community. So I do recommend joining a community that's sort of tight knitted, and find some really good friends you can really communicate to help you with your journey. Because, you know, if you do have a down day, just talk to your friends about it, and at the end of the day, I don't think it'll be as bad as what you're perceiving it to be. And having a community and friends that you can talk about your trading with, you know, helps in your trading career for you. So I do advise you joining a community out there that is, you know, close knitted and works well with along how you want to trade and with your strategy. That is one of the things that I recommend doing.
Thanks, man. Thanks a lot, Mr. Walker, for your time, and it was really nice talking to you. So do you have any suggestion for the FundedNext team?
Nah, it's not FundedNext team. All I would say, you know, and I say this kindly, is maybe have a look at the stop loss and TP during use. That's all for me, because sometimes I will cash out my trade and then I'll leave on 0.5, and sometimes I'll forget about it. But obviously, if it does hit during the news impact, it is a violation. Which, you know, I will always stick to the parameters of and the rules, which they are. You know, sticking to these rules are really good. But yeah, that's all I can say from it. It's not a biggie, but it will, you know, it might help out trying to, you know, let the edge play out fully to see if it, you know, because sometimes it's not actually about getting the money for the edge. It's about, I like to look at it as, it's more about the data, the analysis, to be like, if that edge played out, you know what I mean? And I can see it play out on TradingView, but even if it was, you know, 0.50 lot, it's like, oh yeah, you know, it's different seeing it real life, seeing that edge, and then you know, because we can all, I think all of us can look at TradingView and we're all experts and say, oh man, this is that, it's gonna hit easy, you know.
Yeah.
But actually holding that trade out through the full RR, you know, I think that will help out traders and help out, you know, myself a lot. To, you know, it'll build my confidence and my trust and my analysis to know, and you know, I hit the full TP, you know. Yeah.
Thanks, man. It was really nice talking to you, and I really wish you the best experience with FundedNext and the best experience with the Forex market in the upcoming days.
Thank you, brother. God bless you, eh?
Thanks, man. That's all for today. See you all in the next episode. Till then, stay safe and take care.